All right, ladies and gentlemen, 24-14 Atlanta victory over the Buffalo Bills last night. Monday Night Football, 3-2. They've now won back-to-back games. People kind of forgot about Atlanta because they had their bye week last week, and anytime in this attention economy somebody has a bye week, people just completely forget about them. But Atlanta's now 3-2. All three of their victories were against playoff teams from last year, and I get it. You know, they got shut out 30-0 a couple of weeks ago against Carolina, and people don't really want to give them like their due credit. It's funny, the whole media world today was like, here's why I'd be worried about the Buffalo Bills. Here's why Josh Allen and the Bills aren't going to beat Patrick Mahomes. The media world's exhausting. It changes every single week. And Atlanta is a really fascinating team. I saw an interesting comparison on Bleacher Report or The Athletic or something like that, where they kind of compared it to the Washington Commanders of last season. Obviously, it's not the exact same. You know, we saw Michael Penix play a couple of games at the end of last year. It's not a rookie head coach. It's not rookie coordinators or new coordinators or whatever. It is a little bit different, but I do think it's kind of similar where Atlanta is now 3-2, as we keep saying, and they just had a phenomenal win against Buffalo. But once again, now that Buffalo's lost to New England and in Atlanta in back-to-back weeks, people are freaking out about the Buffalo Bills. You know, Atlanta's got Miami in 2 weeks. They've got San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. Then they've got road games against the New England Patriots and then international against the Indianapolis Colts. And I have a sneaking suspicion at some point in that 4-game stretch, somebody will give, or maybe like just the narrative around this Falcons team will start to, people's attentions will start to peak and be like, oh, hold on. You know what? This team is legit. And the defense to me is the whole what changes everything. But folks, before we get back into the video, hit that like button. It goes a very long way with the algorithm. Try and get 100 likes on this video. I appreciate you guys. It's been a little too long since our last Falcons video. I'm so big on Michael Penix, and he wasn't perfect last night, but he was pretty close to I don't know, I'm getting like a little hard on myself because a perfect game's a whole perfect game. That's a whole different thing. Michael Penix had a very, very fine, very solid football game. 20 of 32, 250, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Things got a little bit weird at the end of the first half where Drake London, probably should have brought that in for a touchdown to this game. That changes it all. They'd be up 28-7 heading into halftime. Even though the offense sputtered a little bit last night in like the third quarter specifically, they're only going to get better. And I always think it's funny how Michael Penix in that whole rookie class from last year, he really doesn't get talked about too much. Like, whenever you hear somebody talk about Michael Penix on TV or whatever, it's more of like, is he going to be good? I don't know. Is he going to be good? Here's why he can be good. Here are some alarming statistics. Penix is doing what he needs to do, and I know Drake London was the main culprit last night, 10 catches, 158 for a touchdown. Bijan Robinson had a career night, 170 on the ground, 81-yard play. Raheem Morris said that he's the best player in football. Kind of hard to disagree with that after last night. Averaged 9 yards per carry. The Atlanta Falcons had 443 yards of total offense. Bijan also had 6 catches for 68 yards. It was one of those games where, honestly, watching it, Atlanta really, 34-14 is kind of how that football game felt. But the real catalyst, the real difference this year is the Atlanta Falcons defense. And it has me so excited because it's year 2 with your defensive coordinator. And we saw it on full display last night. And he's got these guys playing at such a high level. They're currently the best passing defense in the NFL. They're allowing 139 passing yards per game. My 2 favorite statistics for this Falcons defense is they're 7th in sacks at 14. Last year they were 31st. They're also 5th in takeaways per game at 1.6, and that's a huge deal. Buffalo opened each half, the first quarter and the third quarter, with a scoring drive. But then after those 2 plays, they didn't score or have a single play inside the Falcons' 45-yard line until their final, kind of desperate final series when they're trailing by 10 with like 3 or 4 minutes left. And Atlanta's defense, they're lacking like superstars per se, household names, if you will. But these guys are all playing as one cohesive group, and they really got to Josh Allen last night. They recorded 4 total sacks, 6 quarterback hurries. They had a game-clinching interception from a deflection. The defensive back room was phenomenal. I love my man Xavier Watts, rookie out of Notre Dame in the 3rd round at safety. Jesse Bates, real sneaker secondary level here. And you've also got A.J. Terrell, which I guess if the kids, as the kids say, if you know ball, you know he's a standout star. But this whole secondary just played phenomenal, and they've had a really good year, hence being the best passing defense in the NFL. They forced 5 incompletions, intercepted 2 balls. D. Alford led the team with a 90.6 coverage grade. A.J. Terrell gave up only 2 catches on 4 targets for only 8 total yards. He also had 2 pass breakups. Even could have had an interception there. The whole Falcons defense as a whole had 24 pressures, which ties its 2nd most over the last 2 years. 45.7% pressure rate. They are now the highest blitzing defense in the NFL. And last night, Josh Allen had no answers against it. They pressured him on 45.7% of throws, like we mentioned. Allen went 4-9 for 42 yards. And he also got intercepted twice. So he had a 58.3 PFF passing grade on blitzes. And this Falcons defense, you've got the rookies, Jalen Walker, James Pierce. You've got the secondary. I guess you do have a household name in Jesse Bates at the safety position. But the whole, quarterback play has been way too inconsistent the last couple of years. It feels like Atlanta, every year in the offseason, we make videos on this channel saying, hey, Atlanta's going to go 10-7 this year, and it's always flipped. The defense is playing good. The offense is interesting because they're the best running unit in the NFL right now. They're 10th in yards per play, but in the red zone, it hasn't been getting it done as well as you may like. That's something Morris is definitely, looking to figure out here. 27th in points per game, averaging only 20 points per game. Context is important. When you get shut out by Carolina 3 weeks ago, that's going to screw up your points per game metric, but you're coming off back-to-back wins. You just got a little bit extra health with the bye week, and now you've got a fun schedule, man. Atlanta wins Sunday Night Football against San Francisco 49ers. No matter who's playing or who's injured for that San Fran team, it's not easy to go to the West Coast, coast to coast, and win a primetime football game. So I do think 1 week from now, you will probably be making a Falcons video where more people will be believing in this young, just culture change that we're seeing underway in Atlanta. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button as always, and let me know your thoughts, opinions, good, bad, everything about the Atlanta Falcons so far this season or against that Bills game. That's it from me. We'll see you soon. Peace.